everybody. Happy Tuesday. Happy Talkie Tuesday, that is. My name is Dori Patrick. I'm a mixed media artist. I live and work in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Welcome to my home studio. I am lucky enough to live a creative life, and I try to pop in here on the channel once a week and just kind of share whatever happens to be going on in my crazy creative life. So I am so glad you are here with me. How are you all doing? I love getting comments from you guys. Keep them coming. I love hearing what you're up to. I love getting questions. I'd love to hear what you're more interested in hearing about. I'm really kind of treating this like a studio vlog or like a little diary of my creative life, I guess. And today's video is going to be a journal with me video, which you guys seem to really dig. And I really love doing them for you. So we'll get to that in a little bit. First, I'm going to get you caught up on, sorry, I'm looking down at my notes because my brain cannot retain everything that I want to cover. But I'm going to get you caught up on what we have been up to. Last week was a really fun week. We still had a lot of summery weather, so we were pretty warm all last week and into the weekend. This week, now, the beginning of this new week, we are finally getting some fall weather, which I love. Cooler temps. We finally got a little bit of rain. We have been so dry here in Iowa. Really dry. So we got this kind of slow, light, steady rain at the beginning of this week, and I am here for it. We need it. But it's just so nice to get those cooler temps and get a little cozy. I was just telling hubby on our morning walk that I think it's probably time for me to get some fall clothes out. Maybe. We'll see. See how long this lasts. But so what I did last week, you hear me talk a lot about the Eastern Iowa Arts Academy, and you're probably just going to keep on hearing me chirp about it because it's in my neighborhood. I love being there. I love helping out when I can. And I was there twice last week. Wednesday morning, I got to help with the ARC folks. These are adults with developmental disabilities who attend day hab at ARC, and they come and do art projects. And we did this super fun, easy, cute. We made little bat puppets for spooky season. And it was such a clever little project that Heather came up with. I just sort of helped with supplies, and I helped some of them cut some of them out and assemble the puppet. I'll try to put some photos in here, but it was so much fun. And, we had just had the gala, and so they had previously been really working on, you know, canvases and really working on big, serious pieces of art, which was also fun. But it was kind of fun to lighten up and just do a little craft with them. So that was a blast. And then I came back on Thursday afternoon. I also occasionally will help with their after school art program when they need someone to kind of fill in for them. And so I did that on Thursday after school, had this adorable little group of kiddos. These are littles, so they range from, I think, 4 or 5-ish to 8-ish years old. I think that's what that age range was. And they were just so fun and so cute. And we made these adorable little cardboard critters. I think I found the inspiration somewhere, but we literally just we were recycling pieces of cardboard, turned them into little critters, we painted them, and we wrapped them up with yarn and gave them little sweaters, and then we gave them accessories, and it was a blast. It was a busy weekend, for my husband because as I mentioned last week, he's in a show. He, dabbles in theater every once in a while, and he's in a show called Metamorphoses, in Iowa City, and the show opened this weekend. So I did not see much of him this weekend. He was really busy with, he had a show Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then he's got one more weekend, and then he'll be wrapping up his his theater work for a little while at least. But so it's just like a busy time for him. We've been just kind of, you know, passing each other in the house and high-fiving and but it's been good. It's been really fun to see him get back into the theater again. It kind of puts this little twinkle in his eye, which I love. But I got out again on Saturday. I was at an event, was one of the demonstrating artists at the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art. There was an event called Caution Artists at Work. And I was one of, I think, 8 or 10 artists there, just kind of sharing and showing our process. I had a finished piece, and then I had some pieces that I was working on that I just kind of showed folks how a painting starts for me. I had my journals with me, which was really interesting. Like people were really, really interested and wanting to flip through the journals, which that's why I brought them. I wanted them to get a peek at them and get excited about them. And yeah, it was just it was really nice, really fun to talk to the public and get their take on uh just find out what they're curious about, and also to just explain how accessible art is. I think that there is a misconception that only certain people are allowed to do it and are allowed to participate in it, and it's just not true. My friend Erin, who organized the event, she can take a theme and run with it. So we had these adorable plastic construction hats, and there was caution tape up, and it was adorable. I didn't get a picture of it, but she even had safety cone nails. So she had bright orange nail polish, and then she put like a silver reflective tape stripe on all of her nails. It was adorable. But anyway, so that's what I've been up to. It was a really fun, busy week. Let's switch to the fun part of this video, and that is a journal with me video. And I'm going to show you the book I'm working in this video. And I'm going to we'll eventually switch to overhead, and you'll be able to watch the process. Some of it will be sped up because otherwise this video would be like forever. So let me first tell you about the book I'm working in. I have had this book forever. It is an old um, sketchbook that I got years and years and years ago at Barnes and Noble. I know you guys have seen, if you guys go to Barnes and Noble at all, I know you've seen this series. This is like a 9 by 12 or 8.5 by 11-ish size, but they also do like a smaller, maybe 8 by 10. No, even smaller than that. Maybe 5 by 7. I don't know. Anyway, they have a series of sketchbooks, and they literally say sketch on the cover. This is not a book for mixed media. So if you're new to mixed media and new to lots of layering in a journal, I would say this isn't the one to start with. But I have my ways of making sketchbooks work for me. And part of that is I've glued pages together to give them a little more oomph to hold up to all the stuff I do. And I have repaired this. I've reinforced the binding with fabric and gel medium because it's come apart. It's not meant for what I do with it, but I've already started it and I love the feel of this soft sketch paper. So I'm just going with it. I'm going to fill this baby up and then, it'll go on the shelf with everything else. But I want to show you the spread that you're going to see in this video. So, those of you who are art journal jammers or part of our little group there, um, we meet every month at the museum, and we've just started this thing where we're going to do a prompt every month. So everybody that comes to Journal Jam gets to put um, the name of a color in one little bucket and then an adjective in another bucket. And then every month when we meet, everybody gets their little things in there, and then we have someone draw. And September's drawing was pink and Hoppy, HOPPY, Hoppy. And then whoever wants to participate can take the prompts, pink and Hoppy, and do a journal spread based on that. And then we're going to share them when we meet again in October. So I got my spread done, and this is, I hope that shows up. You'll see it better in the video. This is what I ended up with. I went with the hoppy as in a bunny hops. And so, and I love pink. I love pink. So it was no problem for me to get pink out and play with it. But yeah. So that's the final spread. So we're going to switch to the video footage. It's going to be a little sped up, but I'll kind of talk you through the process of how I created this page, and then you'll see some final um, pics of the finished page. So I hope you enjoy. Hello, this is VoiceOver Dori. And here we go on our pink hoppy spread. This page happened to already have some medium pink paint spread on it. It was left over from another session. So I just decided to go with this page. So I am sprinkling some golden fluid. That's quinacridone magenta, which is really intense. If you know, you know. It's an intense color with a lot of pigment. So I scrape it around with one of my color shapers. This is Stabilo All. You know that's my favorite pencil, Stabilo All. It's a water-soluble pencil. So you can see I get a little water going and kind of smear it around. And I'm getting some brushes together. I think my next step is some black. I usually like to put a black or a dark ground on most of my pages so that I have some contrast going. And that is spraying with the water bottle to kind of create some more texture and move the paint around just a little bit, lighten some of it up as well. I love these color shaper tools. Oh, and I've got my heat gun out. I was feeling impatient and wanted to get it dry so I could move on to the next phase, which I think is going to be white. Yes. I usually like to do a contrast of black and white on almost everything that I do. Not everything, but a lot of things. I love the jumping off point that it gives you with that contrast. So painting it on and then using those color shapers. So if you're wondering about color shapers, it's kind of like a silicone paintbrush, basically, with no bristles, almost like a wedge. And you can scrape and really get some interesting marks and textures with it. I have several of them. They are well loved and very crusty. I love them for moving paint around quickly. So here I got some orange acrylic out and blended it with the pink and added some more marks. And then this is Caran d'Ache. I think it's a Neocolor 2. I can't remember if it's a 1 or a 2. I know you guys know the 1s are permanent, the 2s are water soluble, which means you can move them around. And I can't remember which one that is, but I love them both for different reasons. So here's some yellow acrylic. The paints I'm using mostly are Nova paints. If I can remember, I'll put a link in the show notes. If you're not familiar, they are an independent paint company based out of California. You order directly from them. You can't find them in any retail store or box store. And I really, really like them for reasons we can discuss on another day. But now I'm digging into my collage materials. This is a bin I keep of scraps, like medium-sized scraps. So I'm kind of just pulling out random stuff. I don't always know if I'm going to use everything. I just kind of grab what catches my eye. And this is something I do. I crumple up papers sometimes just to give them I don't know, give them some grunge, give them some texture in the journals. That is a painted paper that I painted a while back, I think for collage, I think for fodder school. Oh yeah, and Nova, who makes the paints, they make a great matte gel, and I use their matte gel too. And you see me using another wedge there. That's a cat right there. That's a Catalyst wedge. I know many of you who do mixed media, you know Catalyst wedge. They're available at most art supply stores and online. They are a silicone wedge tool, and I really use it every single day, many times a day, especially when I'm collaging. It really helps me to glue down my papers and get extra gel medium out from under the papers. So now I'm going with my HOPPY theme. We've got the pink and now we've got the HOPPY. So we're going to put some bunnies on this spread. And I doodled this little guy and cut him out. And something I'm obsessed with lately is taking the extra bits from when I cut something out and gluing it down and letting that negative space show the shape that I had cut out. It literally is my latest obsession. I am doing it all the time. I don't know when I'm going to quit. Probably not for a long time because I love it so much. I think it's just the subtle continuation of the theme, or it's a repeat of the image without repeating the image, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, this is a book page I slathered some paint on. I know I want to put a quote down, and so I'm just kind of creating a light area where I could pencil down a quote. And these are more scraps I had cut circles out of for another piece, and I save those and glue them down. That little yellow bunny, I still at this point haven't decided what to do with him. He is kind of cute jumping out of that circle, out of that cutout, but I don't think that's where he ends up. Now I've got another scrap of paper and I'm doodling another bunny, and this is with the Caran d'Ache. I think it's either Neocolor 2 or 1. I can't remember. Maybe 1 because I don't think it smears very much when I glue it down, but I could be wrong. We will find out. And there's another negative space cut out. Sometimes they get a little squirrely. They get away from me a little bit because, they break in half and stuff. But I don't know. I just love that. So here's my ruler. I use the ruler all the time when tearing paper because I love a torn edge. I know you guys do too. It's just, Ah, it's so yummy. A torn edge. And I found another scrap of paper. I'm doodling with a Sharpie paint marker. I really love the Posca pens, but I do have a handful of these Sharpie paint pens, the water-based ones. I cannot do the oil-based ones. They drive me nuts. But the water-based ones are fun because you can catch it while it's still a little wet and smear it just a little to give it sort of an imperfect look. Okay, so I decided I was going to fill in those little cutouts with circle scraps. Oh, well, one anyway. And now I'm going to glue that little bunny down. It is a bunny bonanza here, I guess, you guys. I really had a lot of fun doing this page. It was such a fun challenge. At first, I was not thrilled. I was not thrilled with the adjective hoppy, I'll be honest. But I just embraced what it made me think of, and I just ran with it. It was a lot of fun. So here's another circle, filling in those two little cutouts. Oh, and I think my camera died, so I had to switch batteries. So I doodled this little guy, not realizing that I didn't have the camera on him, but that's okay. So I doodled this little bunny too and cut him out. And yeah, I can't remember where he... It's fun to rewatch this and just think, well, what will Dori do next? Dori has no idea. There he goes. He's up in the corner looking over everybody, and then his little scrap goes on the other side. This is a really, really busy page with lots of layers and lots of textures, and I love that. I love having lots to look at. I love reaching out and touching the page. And this is clear gesso. I'm at the bottom of the bottle, so I'm really squirting out what I can. And I'm spreading it over the whole page. And I'm going to let this dry so that I can come back and doodle and do some things on top of the page. Okay, and we're back. And again, my camera wasn't on when I wrote that quote down. Sorry about that. But here it is. I'm finishing it up. And so that clear gesso dried, and it gives me this wonderful tooth, I guess is the best way to say it. It gives you tooth over all the plasticky acrylics and glues so that you can draw on top of your pages very easily. So that's what I'm doing. Finished up that quote with pencil, and then this is a Posca pen. I decided to doodle that bunny, and then I'm filling in this negative space of this cutout. Another thing I love doing with images is spraying them with water before they dry so they smear a little, and then I dab it with a paper towel, and it just gives me this, it's kind of this imperfect print onto the page, and I love it. I'm feeling like I need a little contrast to the pink. The pink is the star, but I love pink and blue together. I just love pink. I love pink with everything, but I decided on blue to give me a little contrast. And so I'm thinking about, yep, there we go. I doodle this giant bunny just very lightly, and it's a big, subtle drawing that is kind of in the background, but when you look closely, you see it. Oh, and then you see my paint pen blobbed because I pushed really hard and got it going. So the ink is really flowing. And I think, yep, I dab it with the paper towel to get some of the extra off. And then I decide a little more blue in the corner there kind of balances the other pieces of blue on the spread. And these are my Caran d'Ache. These are my Neocolor ones. The reason I know that is because I can tell by the container I have out. So these are permanent. Water soluble, or excuse me, not water soluble. They are permanent crayons. And then there's the Posca pen. That's the wide bullet tip. And I was thinking about bunny tails. So I thought, okay, white polka dots for bunny tails. Add a few in there and do a little dab so it dries quickly. And we're almost to the end. I write a couple more hops on the page because we are pink and we are hoppy. And here is the finished spread, you guys. I hope you love it. I'm going to try to give you a little closer look at some of the details. It was a lot of fun to do this. What a wonderful challenge. Thanks for joining me at my work table. Guys, thank you so much for joining me for this Journal With Me video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope it sparked a little something for you. Do feel free to take that prompt and run with it. Make something using pink and hoppy. I would love to see what you come up with. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what we draw for October because this has been a really fun challenge for me to just give my little brain some constraints and create within those constraints. It really was a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you again for being here. And like I said, I love hearing from you. So please leave comments and let me know what you're thinking, what you're up to. And I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.